each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon to you. Ta-da! I'm here. Welcome. Hey, Leisure. Good to see you, brother. Ghostbusters. For my pod beaners, I'm wearing a Ghostbuster shirt. It's nice enough. I may open up my window. Yeah, but then the cats are going to want out there. It's probably still too wet. Oh, it's rock down there. It's going to be wet. It's not even dirt. It's rock. It's rock. Yeah, we'll open it. Let's get a little air in here. Watch, this window does something cool. I am live. Live. I'm alive too. See, watch, because it opens, right? Which is kind of cool. The cats are going to come running when they hear this. But then it does this. Doink. Or the top just opens. So, do that. Nothing like a little bit of fresh air, right? Kind of excited, man. Do I still have them up here? I do. I'm gonna share my screen for a second. Make sure to get the right one, not accidentally show you my porn. I'm kidding. All right. So their names are Kimberly and Lyle. Okay, and they're both in a sense. I don't want to blow. Okay, Lyle's got 14 years. Yay, right? But this is what I kind of want you to see. Services and stuff, right? So what they're doing, and the name is Healing Family Addiction. They're going to come on. We're going to talk about codependency. We're going to talk about the family. We're going to talk about these different things coming from a perspective of somebody else that has been there. And it's taken me a little bit to find the right people because I'm just going to be honest. Most people on Instagram and Facebook are full of shit. And so, I tend to pride myself on bringing you the right people so we can get the correct information. There's a lot of interesting things. I find this to be a family disease because, well, it is. And codependency doesn't really start with the alcoholic that you married, probably start with the alcoholic. So I'm excited. I've decided that because I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. I think I'm going to put 100 aside from the detox and doing Adams County stuff. Of course, my AA stuff. Meetings are going great. I'm just going to focus on podcasting from now on. That's what I'm going to do. Got a new microphone. I got a new Blue Yeti coming. This one's dead. Hello, I am a dead microphone. But I use the fuck out of this. But I'm going to need some help. Right? Because if you listen to the sound is okay. Why is the sound okay? Because I have a good voice. It's the reason the sound is okay. Okay? It's the voice. I want it to sound more radio-y coming from my side. And I think I love AA, don't get me wrong, but then people see that, think that I'm only AA. And I don't want people to think that. So if you have suggestions on, if you've been in radio on how I can set it up, I do have I have a mixer, I have the equipment, I can get the equipment if I need it. And then if you're a designer or something, may help me with the background. I'm going to change the color of the room too. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I feel excited about it, and I hope everybody agrees with me. It got cold in here quick. This is a reading. Let's do some introductions. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. It was neat talking to this lady because I'm like, I've been going live for 7 years now every day. And she goes, oh, wow. Thank you. You know how hard it is to go live and do even just a 5-minute segment. It's, first of all, it's intimidating. If you're here, please say hello. Whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Okay. Whether watching the live or the rewatch. A lot of rewatchers. So here it is. This is what we're gonna read out of. We're gonna read out of A Date at a Time. This is Hazelden literature. Good literature. Before I get started, I was in a meeting. I got a 10-step shit, man. Let's try and stay away from outside literature in AA meetings, and that includes Drop the Rock. Okay. I'm going to give you my opinion, and it is opinion only on Drop the Rock. Drop it in the trash. I mean, they literally say in the book how they didn't write this book in order to make money. I mean, they very intentionally said that. If that was the case, then why'd they follow it up with a second book? I don't buy it. It's not true. It's just people trying to do paid 12 stepping. Okay. There's nothing in Drop the Rock that isn't common sense. Okay. There is nothing wrong with how it is explained in the big book, nor is it it doesn't need to be any bigger. Okay. And what that book does is it unsimplifies the whole step. It unsimplifies it. All right. So what if ... I know a lot of people think ... is bad nowadays, but it just means to be continued. To be continued. What ... All right. So, and earlier when I was in another meeting, people were concerned with a lot of DUI talk right now. It's that time of the year. And they're what ifing everything. But what if and we can't live in what ifs. We cannot do that. I cannot predict the future, nor can I future trip. Okay. If I'm what ifing, I'm not living in the now, and I'm making my life harder than it needs to be. My response to that and my experience is, well, if it looks like you might be doing jail time, accept it right now. Okay. Accept it right now, because you don't know and you're making your day worse. All right. What if? How often we hear these words from newcomers to the program. What if this happens? What if my wife leaves me? Then what am I going to do? Has your wife left? No. Oh, then you're what ifing, right? How often, in fact, we tend to say them ourselves. What if I lose my job? Now, let's remember what we say to ourselves does matter. It very much does matter. And if I continue to say, well, if I lose my job, what if I lose my job? And then the next one is, well, if my car breaks, you know what's going to happen? You're going to predict your future if you continue that. You're going to get fired. Because in your mind, you're like, well, what if I get fired? Well, and then you're going to take those actions to get fired, because your brain heard you say, oh, we got to get ourselves fired, and it's following direction. See, what ifing has more connotations to it than it sounds like. What if I get sick and can't work? There you go. You know what you're going to get? You're probably going to get sick. You're going to attract that. Absolutely you are. Just like the affirmations that you tell yourself, that how they work. Well, yeah. Well, they work on the opposite too. Right. Now I had this bike, and when I was growing up, we didn't have the hand grip. Those weren't out yet for the brakes. They were on 10 speeds, but I grew up in the mountains, and so I had a dirt bike, not a motorized dirt bike, a bicycle that was for the dirt. Okay. And we lived in the foothills. And so if you went outside our house, you'd go this way and kind of up the mountain. But then there were two big hills on each side. And quite often my chain would fall off, and that was my brake. Right? See, I told you if I opened that window, what would happen? And there they are. Didn't take long. It's cold out there, Sebastian. That's Sebastian. He's a good looking kitty, ain't he? Right? So when I go to, and it always fall off, I'm like, oh, what if it falls off while I'm going down that big hill? Well, I'll just jump off the back. Well, guess what happened? It fell off. I predicted the future. Right? Now, instead of reacting like I should have been, I had a set plan. I'm just going to jump off the back of my bike. Yeah, I skidded down the road for about 10 more feet. When all I really had to do was take a left because there was another road and it went up. And that's probably what I would have done if I wouldn't have what ifed it. Okay. And I was also so busy what ifing it that what I didn't do was fix the bike. I'd rather what if it than do something about it. Right. What if my child gets hooked on drugs? What if anything our desperate imaginations can project? Only two small words, yet how heavy laden they are with dread, fear, and anxiety. There's two places that I cannot live: in the past or in the future. I can't live in those two places in a very literal sense. And I'm not doing myself any kind of service by living in one of those. Okay. When I live in the past, then what I'm going to do is have a day of regret, pain, guilt, blame, shame. And the same will be true if I look in the future. All right. So, a lot of these people have DUI, and it's their first one, and I already know, and they're like, and I went and got a lawyer. I'm like, you ain't doing it. You have to blow in something for 6 months. Dear Lord. That's about all that's going to happen. And, 10 days in jail is like a nap for me. So it's hard for me to have any sympathy around that. What it comes down to is this: we've got to take responsibility for our actions. Okay. Let me finish this. I'm going to go to page 24 in the big book. Okay. The answer to what if is plainly and simply don't panic. I think it's a good, yeah, it's all right. But even saying don't panic gives a negative incantation to it. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to panic. Oh, don't panic, right? Yeah, you're at the jungle gym with your kids. Well, don't fall off that bunk. You put it in their head to fall off. You told them to fall off of there. Okay. Be careful is much better. Okay. But then they're going to be careful, and then they're a little too careful. And then the exact opposite seems to happen. But really, we told them to do it. Don't fall off those handlebars. Oh, shit. Don't. All right. So what is the accept it? Accept it for what it is right now. You cannot do anything about it. What is the next step? Let go and let God. Then there's one more step. There's one more step. Go help another person. Get out of self. I'm telling you, it's the way it works. Okay. But just not panicking isn't going to do you much good. But it's a good start. It's a good start to not panic about it. Right? Well, I might lose my job if I go to jail for 10 days. Not if you tell them first. But you didn't think about that because you were too what ifing into the future instead of staying in the moment to work on the problem and create the solution. You can only live right now. You cannot live anywhere else. Period. We can only live with our problems as they arise. Yes, that's so true. Living one day at a time. one moment at a time. There is no more. It's quite often that I say anything outside of this moment right now is a what if. And right now it's me, Michelle, and leisure. And it's all that fucking matters right now. Right? Sometimes you'll hear my phone ding. Unless I'm expecting something, I don't look at it. I watch it's going to ding and I'm going to look at it. Am I keeping my thoughts positive? That's not really the solution here, but yeah. All right. Positive is as good as far as it goes, right? If you want to keep your thoughts positive, go help another person. I'll tell you why. Because they're going to have problems. And then you're going to be in what? The solution. Now you're living in the solution. Now the answers to your DUI problem are going to start to be answered. Now they'll be answered. Because the week that you were trying to waste away worrying about it has gone by. Yeah. Today I pray. May I grow spiritually without being held back by anxieties. May projected fears not hobble my pursuits or keep me from making the most of today. May I turn out fear by faith. If I will only make a place for God within me, he will remove my fears. Okay. I hear what they're saying, but I'm going to rephrase it. Okay. So may I grow spiritually without being held back by my anxieties. Heck yeah. May my projected fears not hobble my pursuits or keep me from making the most of today. That's asking for it. May I turn out fear by faith. Okay. Now, if we're doing fear by faith, then your fears are not going to be removed. No. Fears are not removed, nor are they lessened. No. What you get is more courage. See, we alcoholics always have the cart before the horse, man. Well, God's going to lessen my fear. No, you got more courage, which is, trust me, is a lot better than losing the fear. Do you know how you do that? By going through something hard, coming out the other side and finding out you're all right. Faith. That would be faith. Faith turns into courage. Courage is what condenses a fear. Oh, I can get through this. 10 days in jail. Yeah. I guess then take a good book. Okay? Take a good book. Does jail suck? Yeah, it sucks. Today I'll remember I can only borrow trouble at high interest rates. Booyah. Absolutely. All right, we're going to go to Big Book, page 24. 24. Twofold. Because earlier, when they were in the noon meeting, 10 o'clock meeting I was in. People were talking about this stuff and I had to, I got to kind of preface this a little bit. Okay. When we drink and think that it's okay to hop in a car, something has happened. Something has happened, and it's called indifference. And an alcoholic with indifference should be locked up. Yes, they should. So I'm going to start on the last full paragraph on page 24 at the bottom. The alcoholic may say to himself in the most casual way, it won't burn me this time, so here's how. Or perhaps he doesn't think at all. How often have some of us begun to drink in this nonchalant way? Okay, nonchalant being indifferent. And after the third or fourth, pounded on the bar and said to herself, for God's sakes, how did I even get started again? Yeah, you may not even remember walking into the bar. You may not have remembered it. It's happened to me where I'm like 2 in. I'm like, when the fuck did this happen? When did it happen? I literally, and I mean it, I don't know when it happened. I don't remember pulling into the bar. I don't remember walking in. I don't remember any of it. It's the weirdest thing. It's the indifference. Only to have that thought supplanted by, well, I'll stop at the sixth drink. Or, what's the use anyhow? Right? Nowadays, we call that the fuck it's. Fuck it, I'm just going to get fucked up. Right? Yeah. When this sort of thinking is fully established in an individual with alcoholic tendencies, he has probably placed himself beyond human aid and, unless locked up, may die or go permanently insane or kill someone else. Because we wanted to get to the liquor store. We wanted to get to the liquor store. And you can't help yourself. See, that's the phenomenon of craving. Once it starts, I need more. I need more. And it becomes priority number one over everything else in this world, including children and other people's lives. Yes, it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear. Right? Now, I press on this fact quite often because when an alcoholic, usually when an alcoholic sees what they are doing to everybody else around them, they usually want to change. That's what I have found out. That's been my experience. These stark and ugly facts have been confirmed by legions of alcoholics throughout history. But for the grace of God, there would have been thousands more convincing demonstrations. So many want to stop but cannot. And I know that feeling. I wanted to stop, but I couldn't. It took me 2 years of trying, and it took longer than that. I'm sure. So, what are we learning from this? Well, we learn more and more how imperative it is to live in the now. That right now, how one day at a time is probably our most singled used motto. The wizard unicorn queen has arrived. Well, good to see ya. I'm wrapping up. I'm sorry. All right. So we learn even more that we have got to live in the now. We can't live in the what ifs, right? Michelle's all, hail whiz. We're going to call you the whiz now. The whiz uni. The whiz uni queen. All right. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. You know I do. Oh, that's not where that part goes. That's not where that part goes. I love you. You know I do. That's where it goes. Peace out. And